Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode when we're going to be talking about a replay system that is going to come to us in September in patch 11.06. Finally, so many people were asking for it for ages. Oh man, Valorant is trolling, man, how they can have no replay system? Marvel Livers have a replay system, oh man, strategy. Anyway, but the point is, this video is not even going to be about what exactly the replay system does, but I would like to focus on the topic being a little bit weirder. Who benefits from having a replay system the most, and who loses the most out of the replay system being in the game? And if you read the thumbnail or the title, you probably will have a good idea, because yes, people like Boaster will hate it. People like JoshRT from G2, they're gonna hate having the replay system, but it's probably not gonna be an issue yet, because from what we have heard from the developers of Riot, the VCT matches most likely will not be available in the replay system first, because it's gonna be focusing on the ranked games first. Let's take a look at what the developers actually say. This is very short.
Replays have been a long time coming, and we are happy to confirm that they'll be going live on PC with patch 11.06 in September, and coming to console a bit later this year. The launch version will enable you to analyze your recently played games on the live patch, starting with your competitive games, and we'll be looking into other modes over time.
So live patch is also important, which means that if the patch changes, so every 2 weeks, your replays will be out of date and they will not be able to be played, most likely. That's what we can read from it.
You'll be able to click through each player's perspective, you'll have a free moving observer cam, and you'll have some other playback control tools as well. We really couldn't be more excited to get replays out to you all, and we're really looking forward to all the clips, edits, and analyses that you create with it. We'll be sure.
Now, this is everything that they showed and talked about, but I'm gonna have to tell you, this looks actually pretty good. I was not expecting such a sharp replay, visually wise, to be done so already in this first patch, because it seems like whenever we saw like movement out of the players, it actually looks like something that could happen in game. Now I'm saying this because typically there's a big dissonance between what you can see in the game and what you can see on a replay system, because this is not a video footage. How replay systems are working is essentially it's a file, it's a text file that is being read into your engine, and the game is being redone from like Lego pieces, essentially. The Lego pieces are giving the informations, and then the informations are building the image. So essentially the game happens again, but with inputs already being done into it. So that's why many of the replay systems are not accurate. I'm assuming that Valorant also will have a problem with the accuracy of how it will look, but so far from what I see, actually this looks pretty decent. We can also see that there's up to 8 times speed on the replay. There's a divider on the rounds. You can go through the players. I don't know what this means. That probably this over here will means that you will turn off like the HUD to have an empty screen to like make screenshots or like, you know, cinematics and so on. And there's gonna be some options on the settings, but we don't know exactly which ones so far. So it's gonna be very bare bones, but that's not the problem. I feel like it's great that we're gonna have it. I'm actually very happy that we're gonna have it in the game, because that will allow me to make some interesting content. Now, back to the topic. First and foremost, why did it take so long for Riot to put this into the game? And the answer is very simple. I was actually talking about this for over a year since we got informations that yes, replay system will be going into the game, but there will be no date. And I explicitly said that we already know that Unreal Engine 5 is coming, and there's no way in hell that they're gonna introduce any new features, complicated features, on the Unreal Engine 4, because they will have to rework them for Unreal Engine 5 anyway, which means that you will have to redo the shit and lose time to make it a different version. So that's why we're getting now the demo system, because we're getting the new engine. And the new engine is gonna be like, let's say, challenging to implement, but this video is not about the engine. So let's focus on the replay system. Now, what do I think? Who benefits the most? The players who will benefit the most out of having the replay system will be people like me, will be people like Mini, Sliggy, will be people maybe like Teats, for example, as well, because we're gonna be able to create content out of the matches for analysis sake. We can do guides, we can do micro, showing how it should be played and show it from every angle and so on. I personally want to do a series of videos that are gonna be focusing on learning how to play like a specific pro player. But at the same time, I don't think we're gonna get access to VCT replays yet. This is probably gonna take a long time to get files for the replays of the VCT games, because from what it had been communicated in the first batch, we're gonna get the replays from our own ranked matches. And again, remember about the live patch, right? So that's another thing. And now, why do I think people like Boaster and JoshRT will hate the replay system? And they will actually lose the most out of this. Because other teams, other pro players, the other teams who are not putting the same effort into the game, sorry for the cough, will be able to watch the replays of Fnatic, of G2, and copy their setups. They will be able to look exactly how the lineup is being made, from which point, what timing was it. They're going to be able to see all the setups from the defenders, like sentinels, like positions and so on, without sacrificing a lot of time. And they're going to be able to catch up to them much faster than they are able to do now, or they're not even able to catch up because those teams are far ahead. So teams who are actually the best in our regions are gonna be hurt by the replay system once we get the VCT replays. Now that's a problem for the best teams, but it's not a problem for the viewers, because in theory, this will allow teams to be better over time because they will copy from the best teams. Now, reality is most likely gonna be different, because the biggest culprit of VCT games and VCT teams is that they mindlessly copy other players' setup without thinking, what is the reason, why is this being used? And I'm not making this up. There were interviews. I remember when I was I was casting with Kakuka and Yinsu in London. There was a Red Bull event. And we had an interview with giants who are playing on Breeze. And they were playing a Killjoy on Breeze. And I asked, why on earth are they playing Killjoy? Because she's just so inefficient on this map. And the answer was, oh, we just copied the composition from Sentinels. This was on tape, by the way, live broadcasted. I'm not making this up. And that was not a sarcastic answer. This was an actual answer. And I have seen many answers like that in the past. Coincidentally, also on Breeze, there was a wall from Zomps that he used on Breeze as a Viper, and then everyone else copied that wall. It was a terrible wall that actually didn't like help the defenders at all. And I messaged Zomps. I was like, bro, why are you doing this? Why is everyone copying it? And he was like, I don't know, man. I just winged it because I was playing first time Viper on Breeze and I had no setups. I just did it, and then everyone started copying it, but it was useless. So I feel like we're actually gonna have a superficial increase of a level at VCT if we get replays of pro matches, but at the same time, teams who will be using those will not know how to implement into their own strategy those setups, so we might actually see worse quality of matches in the future, which is kind of ironic. But anyway, my point is, it's still gonna be hurting the best teams, because the simple stuff like a Sova lineup or like a like a specific setup from our Cypher is going to be straight up robbed from those players, from those teams, and implemented into different teams. And those probably don't have like any specific setups in most cases, at least. So you can just grab that and reuse it. And that's about it. Now, what about the normal people? What about the casuals? What about the people who are yelling actually the most about the replay system? I legit think that those people will use the replay system in the first days, and then they will forget that the replay system exists. I think the biggest screamers who are complaining about the lack of the replay system in Valorant are actually gonna almost never use it. And I have seen this in the past. I have seen this in the other games. I have seen how the community yells about the replay system, how important it is to get better, to analyze your own VODs and so on. And then they do it for a few days because it's new, and then they realize that actually this is very boring. This is something that you actually have to sacrifice the free time instead of playing to get better, but you don't see the results instantly, and you actually have to critically think about yourself. You have to rewatch your own actions when you do something badly. There's not many people on the planet who want to sacrifice their own free time to rewatch their own actions, specifically also when they fuck up, and they would like to learn from those situations. I am telling you this from experience, from coaching players, from playing semi-professional Counter-Strike. It's always the same stuff. The people who are yelling about the replay system right now are the same people who are gonna make clips out of the replay system. That's what they want the replay system for. They had a sharp 4K, but they don't have a good PC enough to record it. They're gonna do a replay system, and they're gonna grab it from the clip, and they're gonna record that because that's gonna be easier for their PCs. You know, it's upsetting because also probably it's not gonna look as good as in the game, because it should be desynced a little bit, but maybe not. We'll see. Maybe the Unreal Engine 5 will have some incredible advantages to make this very good. But who the hell knows? But I already know, though, that those people who are yelling about the lack of the replay system right now are going to be the people who would never probably use it in the first place, apart from the first few days. Now, what do you think? Do you feel like you need the replay system? Do you feel like you're going to actually use it to your own advantage? Will you create it only for clips? Oh, right. Wait. Cheaters. That's another. I almost forgot. Because the people who wanted to also make an argument for the lack of the replay system hurting Valorant, they were talking about cheaters. I'm sorry, guys. But we, as in our community, we have the best anti-cheat on the planet. Vanguard is incredibly efficient. It does its work really well. There are cheaters in the game. No question asked. There are cheaters, and there's many of them, but they are being caught like almost every day. The Valorant anti-cheat developers are working really hard, believe me this. I speak to them all the time, and they are working day and night on catching the cheaters, on catching people on the Discords, on they even like go undercover to buy cheats from the cheat developers to reverse engineer them and work against them. They do a lot. You will not see this in other games. And yet people are telling me, yes, we need the clip system to catch cheaters. No, we don't. We already have much better tools, and no one wants to sacrifice their own free time to catch cheaters. That's just not how it works. And with such an incredibly powerful anti-cheat like we have in Vanguard, I feel like it's gonna be meaningless, and that shouldn't be even used as an argument. Anyway, it's a shorter video today. Let me know what you think. I would love to have an opinion. Would you use the replay system? What do you look forward to in your own like usage of the replay system? What do you want to see in the future from it as well? See ya. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.